cost for us now is $1,000 per teacher for the year. And so if we were just to up that budget a little bit here, we would be able to, as a community council, fund all of our teachers attending that training. And if it's written in the community council piece, then we'd really be able to make sure, because then that would be written in and we'd make sure that teachers have that support and that money. Dan?
So one comment that I just want to make to everybody is that this is a 2-year program. And so Sarah and I talked about if we develop 2 cohorts at our school, then either they're gonna, well, they can't take turns, but that would put us in a predicament the second year if we were trying to fund 2 separate cohorts at the same time, if that makes sense. And so we just felt like that it would be better if we tried to send everybody that we could the first year, with the understanding that next year we would need the same amount of money for people to complete the program. If what I just said doesn't make sense, please speak up. Okay, so hopefully that made sense to everybody. So that's the main reason why Sarah and I would like to increase the budget from the letters training. And so you can just see on the screen the 3 red numbers are where we've made changes. The other change that we made was to increase the amount of money that's going towards our instructional assistants, because currently we have different funding sources for instructional assistants, and we thought it would be wise to move. We only have 1 instructional assistant that's being funded through TSSA funds. And so we thought it would be better to consolidate our instructional assistants coming, not all of our instructional assistants, but 4 of our instructional assistants from Land Trust. And so you can see that we recommend a change from 18,000 to 23,500. And that would account for moving 1 more instructional assistant over to the Land Trust budget. And then obviously to pay for everything, we have decreased our technology budget, which we have lowered from 19,000 to 11,000.
And so we would seek to fund any additional technology that would be needed above that 11,000 from other school budgets, such as the TSSA. Are there any questions about that? Okay, I would propose that we move into just some real quick comments about and thoughts on the budget. Maybe if everybody can take a turn on whether or not they feel like what we proposed was good, or if they propose adjustments, and so that we can, so that we can quickly make those adjustments and then take a vote on the final budget. I know, and I would just prompt, okay, great. So I would prompt Jenny, if you wouldn't mind starting just on your thoughts. And I know you shared in the teams, but if you wouldn't mind verbalizing, because I know not everybody's had a chance to look at the chat in the teams, just what some of your concerns were as far as instructional assistants. And then Dan can talk a little bit about some of the ideas we had in our plan to adjust that. And then we'll allow each other member to maybe give a statement on their thoughts and proposals for the budget. That'll be okay?
Yeah. First of all, I just, when we're asked if this looks good, and I talked to you about it, Sarah, there's not alternatives, like to see, well, what else could there, which is where we have to put our trust in that you guys, and I think it's there that you've chosen the best areas that we need to dedicate the money to. My other issue, I just had a question about the instructional assistants, just so that I just wanted to make sure that they were being used for to promote all students of all levels, because I feel like there is a group that kind of gets left or just stagnant, where the kids that are bored at school, or or that have already reached a level. And I think sometimes because they're at that level, they kind of get overlooked and stay where they're at. And not negating anything about children that need help, because that's where most of the time is spent, and that's good. But I just wanted to make sure that there is an avenue for children that need a little more, so that they are challenged and can feel like they're learning as much as they possibly can. Yeah. Dan?
Yeah, and I wanted to applaud Jenny for bringing that up, because I think that perspective is very important, and Sarah and I both support that perspective. I put some thoughts in the chat, but I'm just, for those of you that haven't had a chance to look at it, I'm just going to reiterate, and for anybody that's watching from home, that here at King Elementary, it's extremely important, in my opinion, to address the needs of all learners. That means kids that are struggling, kids that are in the middle, and kids that are advanced. I don't think that any kid should be left out, and so making sure that we're trying to address all the needs of all of our learners is super important. This fits in right with Sarah and our focus on determining growth for kids instead of proficiency. When you only measure proficiency, sometimes kids that are doing well, you tend not to worry about them. And so in Sarah and I, in the goals that we come up for the school, again, we have a heavy emphasis on growth. And, that's measured by our pathways of progress, goals and things like that, where regardless of, where a child is, if they're advanced, we still expect them to be continuing to grow and improve and get that much further ahead. And so we wanted to, we've talked about what the district provides, in the form of the school enrichment model, otherwise known as SEM. And that's a model that the district, utilizes to try to provide enrichment, to kids, but that is a program that not all kids have access to. And, it is my expectation and the expectation of the district that teachers provide enrichment to students. And honestly, I feel like all kids, can use enrichment and benefit from enrichment types of activities and programs. And so we do expect teachers to be implementing practices within their classroom. And one way that they can do this is by having instructional assistants help facilitate enrichment projects. We need to make sure that our teachers are opting students out of lessons that they've already demonstrated mastery in. We do not want them bored. We do not want their curiosity, to be stifled in any way. And so we do that by making sure that we are having them participate in appropriate lessons. The other thing that we talked about is, making sure that people here at King are participating in passion projects or genius hour projects or personal interest projects. Those are all kind of names for the same, type of activity. But with regards to the money for the instructional assistants, we're going to be reiterating to our teachers that instructional assistants should be used for both intervention or remediation of students that are struggling, but also they should be used to facilitate enrichment activities as well.
Great, that's awesome. Good.
Sorry, and that we will rewrite that in our plan. We'll reword that, right, Dan?
In our action steps, so that we will be. So with our action steps, we'll be transparent that we are trying to address that particular subgroup of students, meaning the group of students that have already demonstrated mastery. And then we'll also be making sure that we communicate those expectations and re-communicate those expectations to our staff about that as well. So.
Okay.
Who I don't know if there's a specific order that we're going in as far as.
I'd be happy to go ahead and make an order so that there's no wasted time.
Okay, sounds great.
Go from the top down. So Adam.
If you, I just will interrupt. Sorry, Adam. I mean, don't feel, if you would like to make a comment, we would love to hear from you. But if you are not feeling like you want to make a comment, don't feel like you need to.
I certainly have made a lot of comments over the last number of meetings, so I'll keep mine somewhat brief. I'm pretty comfortable with how the budget's allocated. I think it makes sense. I think it meets the goals, and where this budget doesn't meet some of the goals that it seems like we need, you know, you've stated that there's other funding sources for some of that, like for the decrease in the technology budget. So yeah, I'm supportive of the plan as it's currently outlined in the budget, and don't have any significant concerns or anything at this point.
Okay, Brittany Grotus.
I agree with what Adam said.
Sounds good. D.
No, I really appreciate what's been said, especially with having an understanding that we are decreasing the funds for the electronics or for the technology. I guess the question is, do we feel that the main or the staple, or how do I word it, the what's going to make the teachers want to help the students grow or perform better, or what's going to help the students want to learn or perform better? Are we putting the funds towards those key points? Do we feel that that's what we are doing?
I think that's a great question. I would say, I mean, I think everybody probably has their own opinion of that. In my professional opinion, I believe so, especially with the letters training. I think that's huge, and teachers are interested in doing that. And then also the instructional assistants. I mean, we saw the feedback from teachers, and it was very strongly that they wanted to fund instructional assistants. So I think that is a, yeah.
I can just answer that for D too. D, I think with the personalized learning that we're being encouraged to do, and kids kind of being able to go on their own path with extensions for kids who are high and they're not sitting there being bored by lessons and things that they already have mastered. And then kids who are struggling, being able to work in small groups with a teacher or an instructional assistant, rather than maybe admitting in front of the whole class, you know, or showing in front of the whole class that they're struggling with something. I think that's a huge motivator for our kids to just know that their learning path is tailored to them for their own success, and they don't have to be exactly the same as everybody else all the time.
Great, thank you. I think that's a great thing to focus on, is what is going to be the motivation of both teaching and learning. So thank you.
Jenny already talked. Joanna, if you'll share any of your thoughts, if you have any, on the budget that's been proposed.
Sure, I think it looks great. I am super excited about the possibility of funding all of the teachers who are interested in the letters training, because the day after our meeting last week, several teachers came to me and said, how did the community council meeting go? What did they say about letters? Like that was their primary concern. Because they want to do it, and they're worried, well, if not all of us that want to do it are going to be able to, how will they choose who gets to? So that's from the teacher perspective, and from what teachers said to me or asked me about last time. It's awesome that that's a possibility.
Thanks. Patrick.
So this instructional assistance, that's not part of letters, correct?
That's correct. It's not.
So is there a certain program that you're using for the instructional assistance, or is the teacher going to be able to pick something that's going to help them hit those targeted students?
Yeah, so we're allowing a bit more flexibility on the teacher's part. There is not a specific program that will be taught by the instructional assistants, but the teachers will be able to utilize the instructional assistant in the way that they see best to help all of their students grow, which may be working with a small group of students who are not necessarily the lows, right? Those middle or those above, or it could be conferencing with students and helping them set goals or things like that, right? Those are just some of the these suggestions.
So you're going to be able to let them use those funds to best fit their class and personalize each of where the money's going to help. Oh man, my mind just went kind of blank. It's been a long day. So they're going to be able to use the money that's allotted there for different kinds of programs or different things that will fit their class, those kids' personal needs from all of the things.
The money is for instructional assistants, and then the teachers have the ability to ask those instructional assistants to help where needed. Yeah.
Perfect. That was my big thing. I don't know, it's the end of the day. I raised home to jump on. My brain's fried by the end of the day, but okay, perfect. Because that's what I really want to make sure is the teachers will be able to have that money to personalize them and their needs to make sure that they're focusing on each of those individual students that need it and the best way.
So that money will actually fund for instructional assistants, meaning people that are already working in our building actually right now.
Yeah, so like a SEM teacher or something like that.
Sorry, what was that?
So like another SEM teacher would come in, something like that.
It's the same sort of idea where they have someone come in and work in their classroom for a certain amount of time during the day. Yes, and they get to design how that works for them under the umbrella that Dan just talked about in response to Jenny's question.
Okay. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to know, the clarification on that. Perfect, thank you. So I find nothing wrong with that. I think it's good.
Okay. And though that is everybody who's on tonight has had the opportunity to talk about it. So I didn't hear any.
Is Brian, do we have other people that are on?
Brian's not. I called Brian Morris and he jumped on, but then he jumped off, and I called Megan and they didn't answer, and Miller Girl 22.
Okay.
Is Miss Miller, I believe. So I went ahead and typed in the final land trust just based off of what we had been talking about in this meeting. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay. And then if Dee or Adam wants to go ahead with the whole voting and approval, I'm happy just to be a facilitator.
Maybe just one last question around so the 53,000 is a projection, right?
Yes, that's correct.
What do we do if that number comes in different? How does the adjustment work?
So the adjustment is typically not going to be, it is not a large amount of money that differs from the projected amount. In our plan, we have to put in a plan, if we have a carryover or if we have more than 10% of the budget, which typically does not happen, Adam, when they're making adjustments to the budget. The only time the 10% happens is if you have carryover from the prior year that makes it larger than 10%. Okay. Because I would probably say that because we have made some cuts to technology, that we would probably just say, if it goes above that 10%, then we'll look at spending it on technology. But according to the state and analyzing the plan, if it's less than 10%, then they just call it wiggle room, in the budget.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
So we're not going to, if the funding that we do receive is less than the 53,295, it's not going to necessarily take away from what we currently have.
Yeah, it should not be less than
Should
what
not be
is,
less.
yeah, what is
than
currently
projected.
projected.
Okay.
So when we call for a vote and when we vote here, we should be good to go.
Okay, great. Any other things? All right.
Is somebody taking notes? Is Bob here? Bob's not here. We just need to make sure that as somebody calls for a vote and motions and then we vote, that we are tallying.
Okay. I've got a notepad right fast. Okay. See if I can do this right. So it's basically just the 4 points, is that correct?
Yeah, I can go ahead and go back over it really quick. So the 23,500 would fund 4 instructional assistants. The 15,000 would fund 15 of our teachers participating in the first 4 units of the letters training this year. The 3,240 would fund M-class per student licenses for grades 4-6. And then technology related hardware, the 11,555.94 would be to fund replacement of projectors that is needed, and then also student devices.
Are we voting on all as one unit or separately as 4 individual?
I believe it would need to be a full unit. And if we want to make changes, that's what we should have that conversation about right now.
All right. So is there a motion to accept the projected funding of the 2021 and 2022 budget for the final, or the land trust budget summary?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the current outline spending plan.
I will second it.
So we'll just note that
Adam motioned for it and Jenny seconded it.
Jenny, do you spell your name?
Jenny.
Okay.
Williams. Yeah.
It could be IE. It could be with one N.
I know. There's plenty
It could
of
be even
spelling.
an H in there.
All right.
Okay. All right. Motion is passed.
and then I think we just need to have all in favor. Is that right?
Oh,
Yes, that
all
is
in-
correct.
Sorry. All in favor? Aye for me.
How about, we can say aye, but I thought maybe we could just raise our hand or.
Are there any nays? If there are no nays, then I shall take it as all ayes.
Okay.
Okay. I'll say all unanimous. Those that are participating, the 5 of us.
Yep.
Not 5, sorry. The 7 of us.
Maybe we just do a quick, since we're online, maybe we just do a quick ask for a yay or nay from each person, if that's okay.
That sounds just fine. Let's do that.
So Adam obviously motioned.
And Jenny seconded.
Yep,
Okay.
Brittany.
Yay.
Okay. D.
Thank you, Brittany.
D, how do you vote?
I already said aye.
Oh.
Sorry.
Dan,
I said Mindy. I'm like,
Yeah, I vote yes.
Joanna,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
I vote yes. That is everybody that's on the meeting today.
Okay, thank you. Now what?
Now we're done because we had 2 meetings this week or this month.
Now what do we
So-
do?
I
No.
motion to dismiss or to adjourn the meeting.
Real fast before you adjourn meeting. So next meeting, we want to cover the new rules, or go over the rules, and for next year. What is it called?
Like vote on the rules of order and procedure.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Let's go.
I know
over
that next
the,
time our math coach would also like to present the final math data.
math data. Okay, I'll put that down. Okay. Rules of
When is
conduct.
that next meeting, D?
What's that?
When is the date of the next meeting?
That'll be the second Tuesday of next month. Is that correct? I believe so.
Yeah. That is correct. I don't have my calendar up, but that's correct.
Okay, let me just double check the meeting
The
date.
That would be the 13th. Okay.
Thank you. Well, it's the beginning of Ramadan. All right, so we'll have the presentation of the math data, and then we will go over the rules of conduct and follow from there. Any other things that we need to prepare for next time we meet?
Nope, if that's what's on the agenda currently, if you wouldn't mind just sending that over, letting me know when that's ready, and I can send it over to our webmaster to get online.
Yeah, I'll be more diligent on that. I apologize, Sarah.
You've done a great job. We appreciated you stepping up this year to be in this position.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm all.
Okay, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for your feedback and your support and the time and effort that you put into these meetings. So I appreciate it.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I
I
second. Let's
that.
go watch the Jazz game
Oh, they're playing?
in Boston. It's almost halftime.
There you go.
All right. Thank
Hey.
you all.
thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
We'll see ya.